Hello everybody, T1 Gaming back again with a Blackout Freerun tutorial. In this video you're going to learn everything about Blackout Freerun, like the shortcuts and all of the possible corner skips that you can use. The best time you can get with this Freerun strategy is about 1:45. As you can see, I'm pretty high in the leaderboards right now. And the world record is 1 minute and 33 seconds. That is because that most of the people that are really high on the leaderboards use G sliding after the patch. And obviously, unless you have a modded controller or are able to press like 7 buttons in the space of half a second, you're not going to be able to do that. So this tutorial does not include G sliding after the patch. So starting out right away, you want to slide out of the starting line, sprint, and then jump onto here. So, slide, sprint, and jump on with a tiny boost. Then, you want to slide and grab the gun. You have to jump onto this wall while you are sliding, like this. However, if you jump while you are if you try to jump after your slide ends, you have to wait till your character stands up and starts sprinting again, which takes a lot more time. You want to jump onto the wall as far as about right past this arrow right here. You might be able to get a bit farther without having to go a bit slower on the next part, but this part is just normal, just shoot there. There's not really any shortcuts in that part, except try to only do 2 boost jumps off of this wall right here. If you're too close to this platform right here, you'll have to do 3 boosts, and if you're too far away, you'll have to do 1. Or sorry, the other way around. But go in the middle and try to do 2. And it also gives you more time to regenerate your boost if you do 2, because you can also start to regenerate your boost while you are falling to this platform. Anyways, once you get onto this platform, you slide towards this jump over here. And this one is a bit complicated, it's a bit hard to learn, but it just takes a few tries. So once you slide, it'll be a bit weird regenerating the boost up until this jump. You should get exactly full boost at the height of jumping off here. And if you don't do that, that's fine, you can always regain that later. But you jump as high here as you possibly can. Here, a bit of boost there, cut this corner. So, on the first wall you want to get above the arrow. On the second one you want to be at the arrow. This one above the arrow, and this one you want to jump off about right there and skip this corner. It's important that you use a bit of boost from the second wall to the third wall, because if you do it from the third wall to the fourth wall, you won't have enough boost to cut this corner right here. Next, do not slide when you land here. That would be bad because you need to regenerate your boost for this one. This is one of the harder parts, but it's not too hard. You just jump straight to this wall right here. And the way you do that is start out boosting to the left or right, whichever one you prefer. If you start out boosting to the right, you can get a bit higher, but it's not really worth it if you don't really want to. I'm used to going to the left so I can get higher doing it when I get to the left. But anyways, you want to use 1 boost going whichever direction you start off in, 1 boost going into the opposite direction to get more speed, and the last bit of boost is directional going towards the wall. As you can see, if I just do the first 2, I'm not going to make it, so the last bit of boost is necessary. You want to get as high on this wall as possible and actually go over this gun right here. That's because the hitbox on this gun is really tall, but it's not very wide. It's about as wide as this silver thing right here, but you can get it like as far as like up here. So you want to jump over it and slide onto the wall. After that, it's not really any difficulty getting this target right here. Just hip fire, you don't have to aim in. The only part that's a bit hard on this part is do not jump off the wall onto this platform, because it's wastes time. Simply boost once you are in the air going to this platform. I'm trying to get back on the wall, but it's kind of hard. So don't jump off the wall, only boost after you're off of the wall and slide on this platform. Next, go up to here. Don't slide on this platform right here, because you need your boost to get to that third wall right there. So use 3 boosts and get to that wall. I messed up a bit there because I misjudged how far away I was from the edge. But go to this wall right here, do a backwards jump, and then 2 boosts onto this platform and slide on this platform. The reason you have to do a backwards jump there is because you go farther faster. It doesn't really work all the time, but as you can see, I went a bit farther out than I normally do. The way you do that is you run sideways to the wall, parallel to the wall, then face towards the wall, aim your left control stick away from the wall, and jump. And that lets you do the backwards jump, which makes you go farther faster. Off of this wall, you want to use 2 boosts. You want to use 2 boosts going in this direction. That is because if I do this, I will not get as far if I do this, which is the reason that you want to use 2 boosts there. It also helps when you're boosting in increments like that, that after every time you boost, you look a bit to the way you want to go, like this. That was a bit exaggerated, but that is basically what you want to do. And keep looking that way. That makes your boost go in like a vector in a circle, and not just in a straight line, because if I boost like this, I'm not going to get nearly as far as if I boost like this. So anyways, on to the next part. The next part is you slide onto this wall, like this. This is one of the trickier parts to do in the entire freerun, but it's not that hard as long as you practice it a couple times. See right there, I missed the first wall to the second wall. But anyways, what you want to do, sorry for that notification, but what you want to do is slide onto this wall. If you want to, you can jump backwards and go a bit faster, but it's not really necessary. But anyways, oh. Alright, sorry about that. I was an idiot and pressed the wrong D-pad button. That was actually the second time I've done that, but you won't know about that because I edited it out. Anyways, what I was about to say was, you slide onto this wall and get onto the next wall using 2 boosts. If you're feeling really confident, you can only use 1, but that's only if you've done it a couple times and understand what you're doing and why. So, to get from this wall to that wall right there is a lot similar than that jump over there. You use 2 directional boosts, and, no, so I'm sorry, you use 2 boosts and a directional boost to get to the wall. So, you can't choose which way you want to start from this time, because you want to jump away from the wall and contradict that force going the opposite direction. So in this case, you start going left. So, like this. It's important that you don't use 3 boosts, you only use 2 increments of boosts. I'll show you what it looks like if you do it wrong. See, I used a boost right when I hit the wall there, and I will not have enough boosts to get to the final wall, because it will not regenerate enough. So, what you want to do after that, to get to the last and final wall, is you want to use 3 boosts. You'll probably end up using all of your boosts to get to the final wall. See, I did it again where I used a boost right before I hit the second wall. Anyways, what you want to do is use 3. Like that. You want to use 3 because you want to have a bit left so you can slide on this, but you want to use as much as possible. Also, if you didn't know, you can slide, if you want to power slide, you can do that with any amount of boost. It doesn't matter if you have a pixel of boost left, you can still power slide. So, the next obstacle is these cylinders here, and these are a bit tricky, but I've found an easier way to do them. The main part they're hard is not because it's inherently difficult. The main part they're hard is because if you do this, you'll fall and you won't latch onto the wall. And before I found out, I was trying to do this, and that works like it did there, but it fails a lot of the time, and you really don't want to start all the way back there once you've gotten here. So I devised a new strategy where you want to hit as far to the edge of this cylinder as possible. This is because A, it doesn't let you fall off the wall, and B, you're already facing in the direction you want to go. You don't have to run like this on the cylinder and then turn. So, once you've done that, you jump to this wall, like that. You might not have been able to see it, but when I jumped on this wall, I jumped off it as soon as I possibly could. So, if I do this, and start running on the wall, and jump forward off of it, I'll jump off at a set speed. If I do this, I will jump off at the rate that I went at the wall. So the faster, if you're going fast towards a wall and you don't want to lose your speed, just jump off as soon as you possibly can. It's also a useful tip in multiplayer as well. So you want to do that with that cylinder and that cylinder. I'll try to go back and show it again. So you want to slide on that cylinder, jump on the third cylinder and the fourth cylinder, and jump to the end. Or not. Alright. Well, anyways, it takes a lot of trial and error. And I did manage to get a video clip of me completing it without failing. I think I did a 151.8 or something like that. That might even be my best time right now. But anyways, it takes a lot of trial and error and getting used to. And I've been using this strategy for some time now. And this part continues to trip me up. But anyways, also if you want to get really tricky with it, you can backwards jump on this last cylinder and slide on it. Now, the glass is kind of hard to do normally, but I think the shortcut is actually easier than just doing it, because it's really easy to break the glass, like that. But if you don't want to do the shortcuts, the way to do the glass is to jump on the glass here, aim your control stick away from the wall, or away from the glass, jump, and as soon as you jump, point your left control stick back towards the wall you just jumped from, like this. It usually works every time, it's not that hard, so if you don't want to do this shortcut, then you can just do that normally. The shortcut doesn't save that much amount of time, but I think it's easier than the normal way. But what it is you want to come over here as fast as possible and slide onto this glass. It's a bit hard, and that's one of the ones that is a bit precise. I've practiced it a lot, so I can usually make it every time. But the reason you run over to this way is because if you do it this way, it's a lot harder to get on the wall. Like, you can do that, and actually I'm surprised I made that, but you can get on the wall, but it's a lot tricky. So the shortcut is you get onto the glass, make this wall, and just jump straight to the end using 2 boosts. Make sure it's 2, because you don't want to be too far or too close to this edge right here, and slide when you're. Now this part, you won't end up using these walls anymore at all. What you want to do is jump using all of your boosts straight onto that wall, and if you do it right, you can mantle straight up here like that. But if you don't do it right, I'll try to show that now. If you don't get high enough onto the wall like this, you can wait for your boost to regen while you run to the other side of this wall. And it doesn't really matter if you do it the slightly slower way, unless you're really trying to save last second. But if you can't jump to the ledge, always try, even if you know that you've been too low, because you might do it. I find that the mantle distance is kind of weird on this wall. So even if you think you're too low, try to mantle up, because it doesn't really have any effect. It doesn't really make you slower if you try. So if you don't get up here early on, you can just run around the wall like that and wait till your boost regens to do it later. Anyways, do not slide once you've gotten onto this platform here, because you want to get on the back of this wall here. It's a lot easier than doing it the entire little maze thing over here. So I find that a lot easier. So there's two real ways of getting onto this wall. I don't really know how people do it, but they start a lot farther back and just sort of do this. I don't really use that strategy, so I'm not very good at it. That might be a little bit faster than what I do, but not very much. So what I do is I run up till about right here, and I jump sideways off of it and back at the wall. Sorry, my phone's buzzing. But, so what you want to do is jump, and then jump sideways twice, and then use that last bit of additional boost that you have to go back at the wall. Like this. This part's not really that hard, you just boost twice to get over here. But if you want to be really risky, you can slide here, because it's kind of hard to get your boost all ready to do the next part. This is easily the hardest part of the free run, and I'll try to show an example of it, but I don't usually give this part first try. So what you want to do is you can either grab the dragon, or you don't have to, either one. It's not really slower if you do. You go to the top of this wall, and you can either jump backwards or you can jump normally, but you can mantle onto that platform right there. If I don't make it here, I have a video clip at the end that I can show you of me making it. So here's that clip. But yeah, it's a bit hard. It's easier to jump backwards because you're already facing the platform you want to mantle on. But if you don't really like jumping backwards and you haven't really gotten used to it, you can do the normal way. So I'll try one more time. No. Anyways, what you want to do is get about on the lower half of that arrow right there and use about that much boost. Either way, you can do it a multitude of ways, but as long as you get relatively close to this arrow and you have time to regenerate your boost to get high onto this wall, it doesn't really matter. But you do have to get as high as you possibly can on that wall, because if you don't, then you won't have enough height to be able to jump all the way to there. So if you jump onto this arrow, wait for your boost to regen, jump sideways onto that red part of the wall. It's messed up there, but jump sideways onto that red part of the wall and jump off this way to get over there. That is easily the hardest part of the entire run. You will probably have to spend a lot of time practicing it. I have, and it's still really hard, but for lack of time, I'll just do it this way. But yeah, if you're wondering how to do this and you don't want to do that because it's too hard or something, it's just like this. Anyways, so if you use that shortcut and you do it right, you can get up to right here and mantle right here. If you do a shortcut, you have absolutely no boost left, so you have to stand here and wait for your boost to fully regenerate. What I like to do is this, and not quite that, but if your boost is completely out, jump, and if you do it exactly right, your boost will be fully regenerated at the peak of your jump, so you can get high on the cylinder as possible. There's two ways of doing the cylinder. There's one crazy wall runway that I've only really seen one person do, but it doesn't save that much time. It's just one mantle, so that's about 0.58 seconds, depending on where you're mantling on. But it'll save about 0.8 seconds. I honestly have no idea how the guy did it either, but he wall runned on that little tiny sliver of silver that is the edge of this top platform. But that only saves about half of a second. If you really, really want to get like top 10 on the leaderboard, you have to do that, but I don't really aim to do that, so I will teach you this way instead. So this way, you jump as high or as close to that arrow as you possibly can, using little short intervals of boost, and jump straight up here and mantle. As I said, the crazy wall runway, it doesn't really save that much time. I've seen people get ahead of the guy that did it without even doing that. But you jump to this cylinder using intervals of boost, and okay, well, you jump to the cylinder using intervals of boost, and if you have to, you can wall run on that wall. It is wall runnable, but chances are you will get high enough. If you do wall run on that wall, you don't have to wait for your boost to regen, because that wall is short enough where you can mantle straight onto it. So, like this. Not like that, but anyways. So that is the strategy. I'll show you after this what a real free run of this course looks like. And the clip I'm using is 151.9 or something like that. And a few things in the clip you might be wondering about. I didn't use this sliding thing on the glass because I wanted to do that for the video and I didn't want to spend a really long time trying for it. And the reason I didn't beat my high score was because I forgot to cut a couple of corners, but it is still a really good score. It's below 200 on the leaderboards, so yeah, hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.